I want to amplify a point he made on just finality.
Absolutely.
Just for a second. Okay, so again, I want to paint this picture for you of this important moment where the second adopters are looking what's happening in our space. And you said something really powerful, which is finality in 12 to 18 minutes. And so it's a boring but hugely powerful point. And just to ground everyone in sort of financial reality as it exists today, in the world's biggest, equities and bond trading businesses, there are, thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of trades that happen during the course of a trading day. If you've got amazing systems, you have a reconciliation sometime during the day, sometimes maybe once overnight. You've got identification of things that don't reconcile, the management of those, that triggers all sorts of other actions in the system, including things like margin calls. There's another set of reconciliations, and then finality comes after settlement and another series of reconciliations. And so if you're running a complex financial ecosystem, it's a really long time between trade inception and finality, okay? And there's a whole bunch of redundant systems and reconciliations and actions that are taken in between the initiation of a trade and the finality of it. And there's an enormous amount of cost and infrastructure that large banks and incumbents have to maintain to actually just get a trade done, okay? So if you think through the power of what he's just describing, to be able to run a financial ecosystem that is able to do all sorts of transactions and get finality, it's like the ultimate cost cutter, right? It's the ultimate efficiency cutter. And so when the picture I'm painting for you is when a TradFi and the existing financial ecosystems are evaluating what is this technology, what is this advancement, like show me how this translates into real disruption in my industry. This is it, right? Not exclusively Monet, of course, but like this is a great representation of how crypto is going to eat the world and how crypto is really going to influence and improve, like in a good way, not a bad way, right? You have financial soundness that comes out of this, and you have all this variability that I described before, which is going to kind of fade quickly and get to certainty. So I don't want you to underestimate the impact of what I think is going to happen with respect to not just hopefully a successful launch, but the application of technology as we move forward from here. So it's sometimes hard, for the outside world that doesn't appreciate this stuff and says like, I don't understand crypto and how things work. I think you got to kind of bring some of these points home to say, imagine your reconciliation trade for your lowest margin, highest volume businesses are going to be like equities, T-bills, that sort of thing. Literally hundreds, millions of trades, and that whole process is massively cost ineffective stack. And so I don't know. I have great expectation in terms of what happens next once the mainnet goes live, once we have a lot of developers, and so that's that. So I don't want to take up too much time. We can go back to the platform if you want to maybe ask Keone another question, and then I'll do platform.
We can ask him about his perspective on the platform and how you think it benefits the broader ecosystem.
Sure. I think that, like at the end of the day, the North Star for our entire ecosystem is decentralization and basically the disruption of inefficient systems with better systems that are more fair, that give people equitable access to financial tools, and that break down barriers and enable a borderless economy and a borderless world. Right now, there are a lot of people that live in countries where their native currency is inflating at a 20%, 30% rate, and they don't have access to great banking systems. Or it's like hard for a small business owner to get a loan in order to fund their business and grow. It's hard for companies that are succeeding in their local economy to really grow. And I think the goal of, in my opinion, the goal of crypto is to make the world more fair and to knock down borders that exist and give open access to systems, and also to give users ownership of all of their own data and control of their assets and control of the things that, that pertain to them, that belong to them. And I think in accomplishing this goal of having a very borderless economy, we need decentralized systems and we need technology that enables that decentralization, which is what our team is all about. But we also need mechanism. We need the systems and the networks that are built, the most important networks in the world, to also have very broad ownership. And I think that the previous history of token sale platforms and the previous history of ICOs, you know, is an interesting one. It's certainly one that
It's a lot of lessons.
yeah, absolutely. I think it's like, because it's such an important problem, there is so much interest and excitement in token sales, and that in the past has not always attracted the best actors running those platforms and the highest standards of listing, or the highest standards of conducting those sales. So I think something that's really important about this moment today, right now, is that we have a world-class team in Coinbase that has put in a ton of effort to build a world-class platform, but also a world-class process for evaluating new tokens and imposing a level of diligence that actually will push the space forward and have a greater degree of disclosures, a greater degree of constraints on projects, and really just help elevate the space.
You guys have brought disclosures to the next level. I feel like you guys are very transparent.
I think that, if I could take that for 1 second, the Monad project's disclosures, which I think have been talked about on Twitter, like market makers, things like that, people have been giving a lot of kudos, but I think it's actually just that should be the standard. That should be what's expected.
Yeah, the